going down, you photography geeks? Am I late to the party? Hey, anyway, this is Sam from CameraLegend.com. I know I'm a little late, more than 2 weeks into it, but it's still January, right? So I want to wish you guys a very happy new year. I want to thank those of you who have stuck with me. I really do appreciate it. Also want to welcome the new subscribers. I do appreciate you. I've noticed actually quite a few more dislikes actually, so maybe we're getting somewhere. Yeah, anyway, so you guys, yeah, I want to thank you too. Anyway, today we are going to go from where we left off with the best, one of the best point and shoots in the world, the Contax T2, to today, one of the worst. And that camera is the Kodak Disc Camera. Let me take off this silly hat. Alright, well, this doesn't look much better, but I like it better. Anyway, most of you photographic nuts know that Kodak was one of the greatest names in photography, a true camera legend, a film photography legend, and even more than that, a cultural icon. And it is kind of sad that we are actually living in an era where a rap star, Kodak Black, is better known than Kodak, the film company. No offense against Kodak Black, Cardi B, Bodak Yellow. I love all that stuff, but for me as a photographer, it is always going to be Kodak Gold, baby. Kodak Gold is always going to be first. Right, so the Kodak Disc Camera was released in 1982 by Kodak. I just want to give you guys a sense of the timeline here. In 1983, my mom, I guess seeing my budding interest in photography, got me and my brother one of these cameras, the Kodak Disc Camera. Now this particular model is the Kodak Disc 4100. Ours was the Disc 4000, I believe, but it doesn't really matter. It's all the same crap cameras. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the pictures that I've taken with this camera. Now I want you guys to understand I was barely a teenager, and so I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses. Maybe I am, but anyway, these pictures are nothing to write home about, but you must understand these are pictures taken pretty much by a kid with his first camera and living in an era before the iPhone, before digital cameras, where you can take thousands of pictures and then edit it to the ones that you like best. These pictures were more like I'm just capturing the moment without even thinking about posting it online, thinking about how great they would look or anything like that. So a more innocent time. So let's take a look at some of the pictures and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about the Kodak Disc Camera. Alright, so what you guys think? Alright, so was it really that bad? Well, based on the technical merits, upon looking at the pictures, I would say yes. You know, very big grain. Enlarging images were problematic with these cameras simply because they were already grainy and kind of soft to begin with. You know, those are some of the things that I think, you know, people saw right away upon using this camera. Alright, so to Kodak's credit, they attempted to make a camera that was easy for people to use. This camera was pretty much auto everything. You didn't have to wind the film. You didn't have to load the film. All you need to do was drop the cartridge in. The camera took care of everything. Winding, rewinding, automatic, everything was automatic. So I give them credit for that. Another reason they probably attempted this was the 1980s was a very fruitful time for electronics. So if you look back at anything, computers, you know, microchips, all that stuff. It was an electronics boom in the 1980s, so Kodak was likely taking some advantage of that and trying to see what they could do. On the other hand, the counterpoint, it could be another case of a greedy corporation trying to make money from people and selling them short, underestimating what people would want. And I guess in this case it was convenience over quality, because the convenience was there, but the quality, the image quality, simply was not there. So you can look at it either way, but in any event, it was a massive failure for Kodak. There were some good things with this camera. You know, it was very convenient, somewhat compact, thin. In some ways, it actually reminds you a lot of a precursor to digital cameras, you know, in its shape, size, form, factor. But the things that made it one of the worst cameras of all time, there were a lot of factors, but to me the main limitation was the film format itself. First of all, the film was, I believe, 10 by 8 millimeters, which is much smaller than a 35 millimeter film. So enlarging these pictures, as I said before, was problematic. They were soft and grainy to begin with. If you notice in some of the pictures that I posted, big grain, you know. Secondly, film development was very expensive compared to 35 millimeter. Third, you only got 15 shots per roll, so you're not getting the best bang for your buck. So, I mean, all those factors combined together, I think people looked at the final picture, as I said, which was big, grainy images, soft, grainy images, and said, you know, thumbs down. Now, all that said, all that negative said, I have to admit one thing. I love the camera. Could be nostalgia, because this was the first camera that Mom gave me. It was the first camera that I shot with regularly. But upon looking at the pictures, I actually love it. I mean, let's put it this way. With the power of hindsight, now that we can look back at it 30 years later, living in a digital era, it's easier to appreciate it now than it was then, because today we're living in an era of beautiful, sharp, homogenized digital images. So I believe that if this camera were to be made today, it would actually be quite a hit with some niche markets like the lomography crowd, lo-fi crowd. You know, I love that stuff too, but not all the time. I wouldn't mind if they come out with one of these at the right price, for a low price. I wouldn't mind adding it to my gig bag. But that said, this is all pure conjecture at this point, because it is unlikely that in our lifetime anybody else will come up with another disc film camera the way Kodak did with this camera. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know what you guys are thinking. You guys want to see the Hexars, the Hasselblad X-Pans, the Leicas, the Contaxes, all that stuff. And it's coming. Believe me, it's coming. Good things come to those who wait, but not to those who wait too late. Alright, so if you guys have any comments, thoughts on the Kodak Disc Camera, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe for upcoming videos. I do thank you guys for hanging around with me. And I will catch you guys next time on the CameraLegend.com YouTube channel.